You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Eric and Jessie After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Eric and Jessie After Show.
Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV with 27 million weekly downloads. We are your number one after show network. I'm Charlotte Broadbent, your host tonight. This is season 2, episode 3, Eric and Jessie Game On. We're going to the Super Bowl, hence why we're opening with the Super Bowl anthem.
Official music, anthem, yeah.
I'm with the beautiful Courtney Henderson.
Hello.
We're so happy to be here. Love covering this show.
Yes.
And since this is the Super Bowl episode, this was an exciting episode. And we knew the outcome, so that made a little bit,
Well,
it
it
was
only
a few,
was because Eric was on the Broncos.
Yeah. He was on the losing team, so that caused a few hard feelings, and I'm sure a lot of fans don't like the Broncos that enjoy the show.
Oh, totally.
So that's probably
did. Oh yeah.
yeah. Engineer Roya, she loves this show, but isn't cheering for the Broncos really. But that's what's good about this show. I mean, pretty much everyone I know likes country music and loves Jesse James, and everyone likes football. And whether or not they like the Broncos or not, it's Eric Decker, and he's beautiful.
So everybody can sign up for that.
Exactly. But anyway, getting into last night's episode, sorry. So to start with, we see Jessie. She's getting ready for the Super Bowl. She's at the nail salon with her mom, Karen, and her sister, Sydney. And they're getting manicures and I think pedicures too.
Yes.
They start talking about hall passes. I just love how open Jessie is.
Well, and I mean, I've never dated an NFL player. I can give you my number out there. But if you're interested, no. But I love that she got the orange and blue, 5-year-old style rotating colors on her toes. Because I'm like, I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have just got red.
Right?
Because you can't see them. It's freezing cold.
I
but
know. She got 80, it's 87
his number
on her nails. And it was just the cutest. But while they were just sat talking, Jessie is saying to her mom, so are you going to get Peyton Manning's
18
number on your nails, since if you had a hall pass, that is who you would want to be with? Which her mom looked a little bit embarrassed at this
she
point.
didn't deny it at all, though. I was like, go mom.
Not at all. And Jessie said that if she could have a hall pass, it would be Ryan Gosling.
Yep, she doesn't need a hall pass. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Eric's, I think, personally, is a lot cuter than Ryan Gosling.
I'll second that.
But it was nice. We got to see some inside details into who, just a normal relationship. She finds other people attractive. She loves her husband, but she finds...
So freaking much.
Yeah, so much. But she is attracted to other people.
Yeah.
And that keeps it normal, because not everyone is in heaven and love and all... the love place 24/7.
Tunnel vision.
Exactly. So it was nice to just see, okay, a real moment. She does find other people attractive, even though she has the hottest one out there. Right?
Right. And she's sitting there talking to her mom about it. I love it because there's such a contrast, because then you've got Sydney on her other side in the nail salon who's waiting till marriage. And then her mom on the other side talking about hall passes.
Right? And we're skipping a little bit, but later in the episode, we see even more details coming out about her mom and stepdad, Steve, and that just gets a little...
I can't. Oh my God, I can't.
But we'll get into that in a little bit. So pre-Super Bowl, we then, after the nail salon and getting ready, I liked that. They were just getting manicures, getting like just chilling. We see Sydney helping Jessie out packing.
Yeah, remind me to never call Sydney for packing help, because did you see how she was flailing clothes across the room? I mean, maybe we don't see it because it's cut out, that it's like folded nicely later, but...
No, it was throwing, and I thought
she was
so
like
funny.
practicing. She was like warming up for the Super Bowl. Eric could have been there packing with her, throwing that stuff in there the way Sydney did.
It was hilarious, yeah, because then someone has to actually put the stuff and fold it, and whether that was Jessie or... I mean, I probably was. She's a very active, pregnant person, and she said when they got to New York that most women this far pregnant are in hibernation. They're not going out doing appearances, going to the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
So
well, they also aren't married to Eric Decker.
That's true. So it's just it was an interesting moment though, because when they were packing and Jessie's saying, I'm getting to the point where I don't feel sexy anymore.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine, I mean, her belly was big when this was being filmed. And she's rocking these mini dresses and it's like, whew,
and
you
those
are
heels?
hot. Yeah, stunning.
I don't even wear heels that high now, and I'm not pregnant. Girl, props.
But she's kind of getting to the point where she doesn't feel sexy, and she has to do all these appearances, so she has to feel. And when you do these appearances, I feel like it's half the battle is feeling nice. If you feel nice, you're going to have more confidence. Everything's just going to be better. And if you don't feel sexy, then it sucks because your confidence low.
And it doesn't really matter if you look sexy or not. How you feel is a huge factor. So
yeah.
I feel for her because we all have those days.
Exactly. But they were packing some cute clothes from what I could see. There was a cute jacket. It was like looked to be a white leather jacket. I was like, that's really nice.
I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I don't know when you're going to wear that in New York because it is freezing.
Yeah. Because seriously, it was in late January, early February when it was cold. And then, I mean, the Northeast got all that crazy weather. And being pregnant, you have to really look after yourself. And Jessie already got sick. She's still kind of recovering. And I think that probably knocked her back a bit as well and made her feel, I don't feel good about myself.
And she hasn't been with her husband. You know, she doesn't have that affection and that cuddling, whatever else happens going on because he's getting ready. They haven't seen each other and now they're not allowed to.
Definitely. Well, she said they haven't been apart for 2 weeks since they started dating. And she was traveling and on tour. And I'm actually not sure how long they've been together. But, I mean, when she was on tour, I'm guessing it was around about 2010, 2011-ish. So that's a while that they haven't been together and been around. And, I mean, been apart for 2 weeks. So, and especially during this prime time when you're pregnant, when you want to be with your husband and just cuddling and enjoying this final bit of pregnancy and it's stress. Like she kept saying, I'm anxious. Every time someone mentions the Super Bowl, I get anxious.
Butterflies.
Yeah.
And I love that for her. I love that it really is part of her dreams for his dreams to come true. And she worded it a little differently, but
I know.
No wonder he married her.
Right. It's just, she just wants the complete best for him and for him to be, she just wants for him to be happy. Yeah. And she knows that he has to reach his dreams for that to happen. It's a different happiness being at home with her and the baby. But reaching something in your career, is a different happiness.
And I love how she acknowledged how once in a lifetime that this kind of an opportunity really is because, I mean, just getting into the NFL, and it just really kind of it was just this humbling moment, and I was just like, girl, you're one of us. Yeah. You're beautiful, and you're married to Eric Decker, but you're still one of us.
Seriously.
Because she's still sitting there holy crap, the Super Bowl, they, let alone NFL and the contracts and the teams, and...
I know. It was, it's cool. It's refreshing to see a celebrity and somebody that's in the limelight and so popular be so real. Because we see so many people, especially living in Los Angeles and being in the heart of Hollywood, that just aren't real and aren't genuine. And that does come across. I mean, shows like The Housewives, it's completely different reality TV than you get when you watch Eric and Jessie. And it's just refreshing.
Absolutely. I definitely feel differently after watching an episode of Eric and Jessie than I have ever watching any other reality TV show. Because I mean, maybe it's naive, but I really feel like, you know, this is reality.
Yeah, completely. And even though, and like I said this last week, I don't like the fact that we know what happened, and I don't like these situations. But when you're seeing such an inside view, it's of a situation, it's different. When it's Christmas and Easter, like, yeah, it dates it, but this is a special event, and I've been thinking about it all week. Why does this situation not bother me? That because we know it's happened, and we know that this isn't technically reality because it's airing now and not when it's taking place. But it's because this is the Super Bowl. This is the biggest football event ever.
Yeah, every year.
And yeah.
It's funny because when I was watching this episode as they go to the Super Bowl, I was just like, man, I would love to be on crew for this show.
Right.
You have to go to the Super Bowl because you're filming the show. Like,
seriously, what a
life.
good deal, right? Yeah, that's a really good deal. Well, so that's kind of before they get to the Super Bowl. And while we see them talking, in the confessional, we hear Sydney and Jessie say that they're flying. Okay, I was a little confused. Did they fly on a private jet?
I think so. I mean,
and they call it the family charter.
I think, but what I think that is I think it's a family charter. I think it's a plane that is probably chartered by the NFL for family members of the team players.
Oh,
I think it was chartered for family. That was my understanding.
Because when they both said it together, I was thinking, and this is a blonde moment. Wait, have they had like a family charter their whole life for like family vacations? Wait, what?
Yeah,
Total blonde moment.
Wait, you don't have that? Yeah, me and Jessie grew up with family charter planes.
But so that's kind of, I was a little confused there, but that makes so much sense that that the families get to travel and kind of probably all together that are coming from the same place. Yeah, because we saw
when they drive actually on the bus to the Super Bowl, it says team family. So I think it's kind of the same idea.
Same thing, right.
I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, when they get to New York, the first thing that they do is, well, Jessie has some appearances. She has an interview. Was it Entertainment Tonight? Michelle Williams from
Insider.
It wasn't Insider, that was it. From Destiny's Child. And then they go to a gifting suite.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that's all I can say. Wow.
Gifting suite?
Yeah.
Right?
The amount of things that were just being thrown at her. I mean, a trip to Aruba, just given to her. And then she had Dre beats on. Is that what they're called?
I think so.
And all this. I mean, she had a huge bag. It looked like ski bag.
It was like a mummy duffel bag.
Yeah. It did. It was like one of the big duffel bags that skis are put in.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all full.
And I've been to some of these. Actually, that's actually how I met AfterBuzz and found the AfterBuzz family. I was working a gifting suite, and AfterBuzz was there. It was for the Oscars 2 years ago.
Oh, cool.
And they do, you guys. They throw everything free at you. I mean, I was just like helping out, and I got a free like pair of Uggs, a free party mixer of like the bullet, you know, like magic bullet, like the party bullet. Like jewelry of like design. Yeah. They give, I mean, and all the celebrities have to do is just take a picture with it.
Wow.
And sometimes even then they don't have to. They're just, these companies are just happy for the exposure, happy to, you know, get a second to just kind of put their name out there. And as you saw Jessie, she was like overwhelmed. Like, they're just giving me all this stuff.
And I thought it was cute because, I mean, this is a real moment that they wanted Jessie there. And Sydney and her mama kind of stood on the sidelines just watching because it's all about Jessie. She's the reason that they're at this gift. Well, yeah, this is the reason.
I would say, yeah.
They're at it because of Jessie, and they want Jessie in the photos. But her mama and Sydney just looked happy for her.
So
there
happy.
was no kind of jealousy looks or anything from Sydney, and it was like, wow, you guys are super close.
And Jessie was rocking it. I mean, she was really having a good time, it looked like, you know, taking the photos, being a really good sport. Because I'll also say that not everybody that gets invited to those things are as playful and fun about the fact that they're getting all this cool free stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of celebrities would be like, this is too much, I don't have time for this. Whereas Jessie was trying the hats on, taking silly photos, just going with it and having fun with it. And it was just cool to watch.
Yeah.
I want to go to a gifting suite.
Well, you know, next time I ever work one.
That's pretty cool.
That's when you've made it, guys.
Right? I mean,
when you get invited.
It was a 4-day trip to Aruba. Just like, wow.
Maybe that's season 3.
Maybe we'll get to see that. That would be cool. That would be a cool little addition if we got to see some of these things that she got given. But okay, so after the gifting suite, they go to lunch, and they're just hanging out. We have a lot. This is an interesting lunch.
This is my favorite part of the episode, guys. Oh my goodness.
So and I liked this episode because we got to see Steve, which is Jessie's stepdad, and I don't remember seeing him last season at all. This is the first time that I've seen him, and it was a cool little insight because I've always wondered, what does a male in this family other than Eric Decker woo,
Deer in the headlights, quiet, uncomfortable. Those are like the 3 words I can use to describe that entire lunch from his perspective.
Well, so it's Steve, Jessie's mom Karen, Sydney, and Jessie.
Yeah, and then
yes, and it's the 4 of them for now. It's the 4 of them, and Jessie is saying how much she misses Eric, and Sydney's kind of chiming in a little and saying, yeah, he really brightens your life up. And you can tell, and you can see that Jessie's just a little bit down.
Absolutely. And it's more than just like pregnancy, travel. She misses her man. She can't stop talking about how much she misses her man.
Yeah. And how was it that they brought up, I can't think how they brought up the photos.
Oh, that was a dinner.
No, it wasn't. It was
the photos?
Lunch. Was it?
I thought that was at dinner.
I think it was at lunch. Well, we'll save it for dinner then.
I think
because maybe it was. Sorry about that. Was it?
It's gonna drive me crazy.
I wrote. Well, whatever. So we'll get into Eric, and Jessie just wants to be with him, but she understands that she can't right now. When he's with the team, he has to be before the game. You're with the team. You have to concentrate. All your energy has to be on the game. It has to be on focusing. And this is the Super Bowl. You can't be with your wife, doing whatever in the hotel room and eating whatever. You have to be eating carbohydrates, eating proteins, getting prepared mentally, no distractions, and just focusing.
See, and my question, I was thinking about this. Would missing the person that you love, Eric missing Jessie, would that not be kind of a distraction? You know what I mean? Or I guess that's kind of a question for him. How do they do that? They have to keep focus, but I feel like taking them a little bit out of that element of normal life would a little bit.
Well, the reason they've been
throw it off.
The reason they've been away for 2 weeks is because Jessie was in LA for a week.
Right.
So they would have only have been away for a week. And I'm sure they probably got to the Super Bowl 5-6 days in advance. Really, that's not too much to be apart from your family before the Super Bowl. Because you get there, day 1 you get there. Day 2, you're kind of settling in still, training. And then 3 and 4, you're starting to you're easing down, getting massages.
Probably
you're
workouts.
Staying so busy, and you're doing press conferences. There's so many things that you're doing that you really don't have time. The only time to be with a wife or girlfriend would be at night, and that's when you're supposed to be sleeping.
Right.
So I can totally see why they don't want girlfriends and wives being there. But Eric did get to step away from the team, and I don't know how that would go down. Maybe because they're filming a show. I don't know. Well, I don't think that would play a part of.
Well, and I don't think that he would break a rule or get an exception for the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
If this was just a big game, maybe, but.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is a little more than a big game.
But so he called Jessie, and obviously he had said something, "Where are you sitting?" And she turns around and he's right there. And just the way she runs up and hugs him.
I literally got teary-eyed.
It was the cutest thing.
You guys, this is not fair. Why do I care so much? I'm crying.
And at this point, she has her Uggs on.
Yes.
So she's so short, and it's just so cute.
Yes, and I love it because at the Insider, going back a little bit, she talked about how she just switches into her heels for these things, and I'm like, but she walked in, we saw her on camera walk in. So when we saw her at the restaurant with her Uggs on, I'm like, oh my gosh,
that
there
is
they are.
Clarification that
I wrote something about getting hugs and Uggs.
Aww.
Because
I
this
like
big
that.
old bear
Getting
hug.
hugs and Uggs from Eric Decker.
Right?
that's cute.
Put me in line for that booth.
It was really cute though, and I mean, he just like they both. And at
It's
the dinner table, she was
love.
then putting her head on his shoulder.
She was instantly in a better mood.
Yeah.
Not that she was like this horrible grump to be around prior, but
And that's the funny thing. When she said, "Oh, he just brightens up my," she wasn't really complaining. It wasn't in an annoying way at all. And I think Sydney said something about that, which is funny.
yeah, they're all
because-
like, "Stay around. We like you better when Eric's around. Don't go, Eric."
But when my friends complain about guys, I'm like, ugh, stop, because
Yeah,
it's annoying.
true.
Whereas it wasn't the annoying whine, and maybe
That's
because
true,
she's
yeah.
pregnant,
We
a
give
little
her
bit
a little
of leeway
yeah.
because you're pregnant.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know, it was a cute moment, and he was eating their leftovers and that.
Yeah, which that's I was like, is he allowed to eat this stuff right before the
fried
Super Bowl?
calamari, fried food. I
And
probably
can
not on
Jesse
the
eat
menu,
that? Can you eat
but-
that when you're pregnant? I mean, I know that they're not going to do what they can't do, but I was just like, man, he's cleaning up for
Yeah.
for having the Super Bowl in a couple days.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it was a fun lunch, and it was nice to see that he got to be able to take time away and just surprise her. I like the fact that he's spontaneous, and he could have texted her and said, "I'm gonna come to lunch," and he didn't. He surprised her.
Yeah.
And that just keeps things going and surprising and just fresh.
It's more something I feel like you would do when you're in the early stages of dating.
Completely.
And I love that they kind of have that. Like, they still have that excitement that you have and the butterflies and the stuff, even though they've been together and married and now have a baby. Or, at this point in the show, they're expecting.
Yeah.
And they still, he still courts her.
Well, there's something I read. It's ABC. You should always be courting.
Yes.
And I feel that's what he does. And I think that's why it works. And they are still so in love because he's still it's still like he wants to impress her.
Totally. I mean, this just came to me with you saying that. Vivian, their little girl, I mean, the guy that has to, impress her, watching their relationship,
Right.
her whole life growing up, and having a dad, having that be, the example, the man of the house, good luck, guys.
Yeah.
Good luck marrying that girl.
Right? It's rare to have two people these days that are just so in love and so inseparable and genuinely in love. You really don't see that often. I really can't think of that many couples that truly show that love.
Yeah. I mean, people have it, but they don't express it.
Yeah.
And it's
In a
almost
way
like
that
Jessie can't help herself.
Right.
She's so overwhelmed and kind of full of love.
Yeah.
She has to just let it out.
Yeah. Well, if you guys like this show too and like our after show, give us 5 stars on iTunes. It only takes a second to log on and download, and it's free to download. And we appreciate any comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. And it's also on YouTube, so you can click on that's probably, if you can see us, that's probably why you're watching. But yeah, and let us know. So getting back into the episode. Okay, so now they go to dinner.
Yes.
And now we can get into...
Because I think it was dinner, but I feel a little guilty because maybe it was lunch because her friend shows up at dinner, and I don't think her friend was there.
It was,
but
but it's okay. We'll just talk about the situation. So it's the 4 of them. It's Jessie's mom Karen, stepdad Steve, and Sydney. And something gets brought up about photos.
I know what it is. Jessie didn't have her phone. I don't know where she left it, but she didn't have her phone with her to where Eric would be able to text her on game day morning, like their tradition is.
Yeah.
And so her mom said, "Oh, you can take my phone so that you can get that morning text ritual." And she's like, "Great, thanks, but delete all your nudie pics first." Joking. 100% Jessie was joking.
And then Sydney chimes in and says, "Oh, I've seen a couple." And it's like, okay, hold the phone.
What?
Whoa. I just don't know how to digest that. That was kind of a disturbing little second.
Again, deer in the headlights, uncomfortable.
And I think her mom kind of goes red, and Steve's just kind of sat there like, oh boy. But he covered it up well. He said, I don't remember that photo. It's
Yeah,
like,
and her mom's like, there's lots of things on the computer. I'm like, I want to know. I don't want to know, but I want to know. What do you mean there's lots of things? More where that came from?
And then in the confessional, she says, I mean, yeah, I may be
Almost a grandma.
Yeah, almost a grandma, but that doesn't mean that I'm not getting it on sometimes. And then she clarified, wait, not just sometimes, a lot of the time.
Yeah. I'm like, well, now we know where Jessie gets it.
Like, no.
And maybe Sydney's only not like that because she doesn't know what she's missing yet.
Maybe that's true. That's
So.
maybe. And I just like the dynamic of the way, because I know that some siblings would pressure if their younger sister was waiting for marriage and they were very sexual and very just happy being sexual and being open about their sexuality. So there would be some tension there, but there's no tension whatsoever. And Sydney doesn't judge either the way that Jessie is.
Right.
And her mom.
Yeah.
But
she was so cool and playful about it.
Yeah.
Sydney was, because I feel like if she was really reserved and judgmental, she wouldn't have brought it up.
Exactly.
Not like that at dinner with the
No.
fam and everybody there.
No, it was played off really well, and in a way that, I mean, I did feel a little uncomfortable just because I don't want to know about any parent like that.
No, I'm like, Steve, let's go get a drink somewhere else. I'm with you.
Right? But it was played off well, and it wasn't made out to be uncomfortable at all. It was just laughing, joking. So at the dinner, Nikki Colquitt, who is Britton Colquitt, who also plays for the Broncos, wife, who is also pregnant, goes to join them. They're at V83 in New York. And I just want to say this. I like seeing them in New York and seeing them happy in New York, because now we know that Eric
is a jet.
Yeah. He's a New York jet.
Yeah, 5-year contract, $36 million, 36.3 or something like that.
Yeah, so now I like that.
Yeah, congrats.
But so now they're going to have to move to New York and kind of set up shop again. And I know Jessie had said he is a free agent, or this is in one of the interviews.
Yeah.
He's going to be a free agent. But we do hope, I would love to raise my little girl in Denver.
Yeah.
And I mean, the house is stunning. I don't blame her. And it's on lots of land, and they have big dogs.
And you can get that in New York. It's not going to be in the city, obviously, but
Yeah.
A friend of mine was married to a Jets player, and they lived in New Jersey and had kind of the whole white picket fence thing. So if that's what she wants, it's out there.
Yeah.
If that's what she wants.
I did like seeing them though in New York, because now this is where they're going to be living. So it's a little taste of what hopefully next season is going to show for us.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Third season, we're hoping. But they're at V83. And Nikki Colquitt joins, also pregnant. And I thought it was cute when they toasted to them.
With their mocktails. And it was orange. I don't know if that was on purpose, but I was like, that's a Bronco color.
I know. I'm sure it was on purpose.
I'm sure it was too.
I liked it. And they were saying they picked the right wives for this, because we'll travel with them, we'll be dedicated to them, and while we're pregnant.
Yeah.
Like that.
Can we just talk about how the first thing that she said when she sat down at the table was something along the lines of dreaming about his churro?
Yeah.
And Steve's sitting, I'm like, these people just talk about the most sexual
things. So Nikki Colquitt must be good friends with Jessie
I would
and
imagine
the family.
so, yeah.
She's got to be, because the way that she just opened with that, it literally, and maybe this was editing and filming, but it literally looked like she sat down and openly just, first thing that came out of her
like,
mouth.
we miss our men. Yeah, you dreaming of that churro?
Yeah, and it was like, oh boy. And I think that was when Steve said, how do I always get wrapped up in this girl talk?
Like, I would like to leave the girl talk for just the girls at least once. He kind of reminded me in this episode a little bit of poor Bruce Jenner with the Kardashian girls.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
Right? Like, just that, like, just helpless. Like, what do you even do? You just have no control.
There's no point in even trying, because I can't change this.
No.
But it was funny, and it's funny because there's another person now at the table that's equally as sexual as maybe Nikki was just saying it because she knows how sexual Jessie is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never met Jessie's a very sexual person. I don't know
Yes.
many people that are that sexual. And then to have someone else sitting at the table that again brings out the sexual stuff, I was
Of
like,
it all.
wow, you guys
Well, she hasn't seen her husband for at least a few days
Yeah.
also. So they can, sort of
definitely.
be kindred spirits.
Yeah, but it was interesting to kind of hear her talk about sex during pregnancy, because it's a kind of strange kind of thing. I mean, I've never been pregnant, and that just kind of freaks me out.
Sex during pregnancy or
Yeah, just the idea
just of it? Yeah.
Yeah. But to hear them talk about it, and I mean, she's got a big belly now, so you kind of have to get a little creative,
Yeah.
right? And that's
Yeah.
what Nikki was saying. She was like, just got to try a few different things.
Here, let me draw that out on this napkin in the restaurant for you.
Right?
Try it this way.
But we're definitely getting to know lots of different sides, and that's what I like. The key with reality TV for me is when you sign up for a reality show, you can't leave things out. You have to be open, let everyone in, just be you.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the
And
ugly.
Exactly. You can't be the person that doesn't want A, B, and C seen on camera, because then this isn't reality. You're hiding
Right.
things and you're not being you. But Jessie really does put everything out on the table, and she lets the viewers and her fans know everything about her. And that's what I like.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to expose yourself and agree to that sort of invitation into your life, to do it openly and honestly and be
Exactly.
vulnerable to those moments that aren't as ideal.
Exactly. You can get backlash from it. You can get negativity
Mm-hmm.
negativity from it. But so far she hasn't. And I mean, I don't think she will, because you can...
She's Jessie Decker.
Exactly. So after all the pre-Super Bowl activities they've done, dinners, lunches, it's now time for the Super Bowl. And the morning of the Super Bowl, Sydney runs in and they're dressed up, and they have Decker in 87 on the back of their sweatshirts. Her mom's super excited, screaming.
I love how Steve was filming.
Oh my gosh,
And again,
home
it's like,
videos.
and I'm thinking, I'm like, you're on reality TV right now, right? But I've interviewed somebody else that did reality TV, and they said that you actually forget about the cameras because the crew's very good about sort of disappearing.
Yeah.
And kind of like not being there. And so I kind of love that Steve did that, because it's like he's making his own home video memory just like you would if there wasn't Eric and Jessie game on.
And it's a different kind of home video.
Absolutely.
It's a more personal home video that only you have.
Right.
Because I'm sure there was more filmed than just the little 2 seconds we see
Of
Steve with
course.
the camera. So they have the more of the memories. But they get on the bus, the family bus, and they are at the Super Bowl. And
they're freaking out. That whole bus ride.
They are freaking out. And then it just kind of goes downhill a little. And we just see Jessie. She's struggling. She doesn't know. She's kind of trying to prepare a speech in her head. And she said, the Broncos don't lose a lot, so I don't really have to deal with this.
Yeah.
But for them to actually... It would be better for them to lose a couple of games, like, well, they have done, but more during the season. Well, then they would get to the Super Bowl. But, okay. But so she could prepare a little for this
Right.
big event that now she's going to have to look after her husband. Because,
And see, I wouldn't with her. I wouldn't have known. And I actually hadn't thought until she said it, the whole, we don't lose. So like, this isn't something I've had to really get used to doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're right.
It's a
Because
good-
like you
that's a
said,
good
because you
point.
wouldn't be at the Super Bowl
Exactly.
if they lost the games and you
Exactly.
were really good at prepping for those losses.
Completely. But this was a real moment, because, I mean, what do you do? What can you say? Because it was a painful game.
And they didn't show, and I kind of...
I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
And when I said before, I like how Jessie lays out everything on the table, I didn't like this, because I don't think when you show the Super Bowl and you show all this preparation and you show Jessie saying, I don't know what I'm going to say.
not get to see that talk.
Yeah. And I get it. Like,
Steve, did you film that? Can we see it?
like, I get that this is a super personal thing
Yeah.
that's happened and very hard, and I'm sure tears were shed by Eric, but
Both of them. She
Yeah.
was right
Oh,
there with
definitely,
him.
yeah. But honestly, when you've let the cameras this far, I thought it was kind of unfair for the viewers that we didn't get to see that.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I mean, it's selfish because it's like we want to see, and it's not because I want to see him hurting.
Not at all.
It's it's just another element to the relationship of this is going to be one of the hardest things that they've had to deal with thus far in the relationship. And how do they do that? And when you're in love that much, and when your relationship is as great as it is, what does a couple that has the fairy tale do?
Yeah, how do you deal with that? And we did in the confessional. This is almost at the very end. We do see Jessie and Eric, and he says something about this was the toughest loss. Yes, I was at the best game, but we lost. And he was very serious. But there wasn't really any emotion, and we didn't get to see. I was sad that we didn't get to see.
And I mean, and I would be curious to know, maybe because of the whole, keeping them separate, and the team probably has to travel back and do some things together, and probably press and things that perhaps the cameras weren't allowed for other logistical reasons into, the first time that they would be able to talk. And
maybe it wasn't that soon after the game, because I'm sure they were rushed to press and rushed to different things. But when we do see them together, they are in bed, Eric's sleeping, and Jessie's downstairs cooking, which again, I mean, she's 8 months pregnant now, and she's cooking an amazing breakfast, chocolate chip cookies. And
Sydney didn't even help. I don't think Sydney was even home.
I don't think she was either, which I liked. I liked the fact that it was just them, and this needed to be a scene where it was just them and the dogs, and not another person in the family, because this is their relationship. But Eric, he's happy, and now he's saying that you and the baby are the number one priority.
Yep.
And I mean, football season's over. Now I'm all yours. I'm back. It's back to just me and you, and not me, you, and football.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Jessie is so happy about.
Right. Well, especially knowing any day now.
Yeah. Right.
They make 3.
Wow. And they said that we brought a human into this world together. Like, yes, we both have careers, but we created a human. Those were powerful words.
Right?
We created a human.
And that's what life's about. That's what she said.
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, I'm like, this girl would give up the music and give up the football and just go live on a ranch in Denver.
Right?
And raise his baby. And, But, I mean, I feel like she would give it all up to keep him and her family safe and happy. If she had to. I mean, if it actually came to that. It won't, hopefully.
No, I don't think it will. I think they both want the best for each other and their careers.
Yeah. I have to say, when she made him breakfast in bed and she brought it up, I was like, she totally made breakfast for 2. Like, she totally made breakfast for her, too.
Yes,
I love
definitely.
that. Like, she ain't gonna not eat.
No.
She's gonna eat with him up in bed.
No, I would do the same. And the pancakes looked bomb.
Oh,
they looked so
yeah.
good.
I was like, I want chocolate chips.
Right. Well, that was the end of the episode. I think anything else then?
No,
I think we covered pretty much everything. We can get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What are you thinking for the next couple episodes?
Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to think, what was the preview?
The previews
Remind me.
We saw Sydney crying.
Yes. Okay, yes. I think the next episode is going to be more around that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is going to be kind of a very heart-to-hearty sister episode, because we see Sydney clearly is getting broken up with, or it's already happened. We don't know yet. But I mean, I feel like Jessie really shows her, kind of sister, or maybe even like a little bit of like a matronly side that she's practicing for it with, little Vivian on the way, with kind of calling her out and being like, look, like, you can be sad, but hey, like, you knew he wasn't.
Right. And I think that, because if I had Jessie as my sister and saw the way that my sister and her husband were around each other, I would be like, wow, I have to find someone that does that for me, that treats me that way. And I know no one who has a boyfriend that treats them the way that Eric does. So
right.
I think that's a lot for her. She has to find someone that really has to step up to the mark and treat her right. And that must be tough. And I think in the next couple episodes, we're going to see, I think they're going to have I wrote lots of sex.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, we're actually probably going to see her talking a little bit less about sex because she's going to actually be getting it.
Yes, exactly. Now they're back together, back in the house, really preparing. They're putting clothes together, and
that was so cute. Oh, the baby. They fight about do you want to sleep right next to where you poop?
Oh.
Eric, what were you thinking?
I know. Yes. Jessie, totally with you.
My prediction is that is not what baby Vivian sleeps in right now.
Yes, that cot is going to be gone.
We'll find out.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week. Where can we find you, Court?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at COUHEN.
And I'm on Instagram and Twitter at CharlotteB_TV. We'll see you next week, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.